after a month of not having a voice and being sick, I'm back. But I almost died.
Oh my god, I almost died.
Anyway, what would you do if your house was being haunted by a little girl? Okay, so this story comes from La Sociedad Secreta podcast, and it's called La Historia de Terror de mi Hermanita, which translates to the terror story with my sister. And yes, I'm translating this from Spanish to English, so if you want to go listen to it in Spanish, go check them out. Okay, so this story starts off with this guy who's saying that he was at home with his girlfriend at the time and that they were waiting for his friend to come pick them up so they can go somewhere else. So his friend finally gets there and he goes towards the front door, and he says that the front door is like a little step down, but he can see through the house if you were looking into the door. So he goes towards the front door just to tell his friend, hey, put your hand through the door and open the knob yourself because I'm putting the shoes on. And as he's putting the shoes on and his friend is trying to open the door, he notices that his friend starts not looking at him but behind him as he's opening the door. So he's looking beyond him at something. He mentions that if he's looking beyond him, he's looking at the kitchen, and at the kitchen there is an island that you can see from the front door, and then behind the island is where the stove is, the fridge, all that. So he says that his friend finally opened the door and that he says, what were you looking at? And he says, hey, why is your sister doing that? And he's like, what do you mean, what? He goes, she was behind there in the kitchen. And the guy's like, no, my sister's upstairs. He even mentions that he was alone with his girlfriend and they haven't came down. They've been upstairs the entire time. And the guy was like, stop playing because I literally saw her peeking. And he went as far as to walk to the kitchen and be like, is she hiding? Where is she? And he goes and looks and there's no one there. And the guy's like, what? I literally just saw her. Stop playing with me. And the guy's like, no one. They have not came down. In that moment, the friend also says, oh, I didn't even realize that your sister uses glasses. So the guy is like, wait, my sister doesn't use glasses. What did you see? And the friend's like, what do you mean? I literally saw her peek up with her glasses and 2 ponytails on. Can you imagine? This is what he saw peeking through the island. I mean, listening to the story now, that would have been creepy, but then I'm sure he was like, yeah, that's your sister, peeking, ponytails, glasses. He had too many details for this to not be true. He said that after that, they kind of just let the topic go and they left. But later on, something else happened. So he mentions that actually 5 years passed since that incident where his friend saw a little girl in the kitchen. He is up one night till 3 in the morning because he had class and he has to do a conference the next day. So all night he's been preparing, he's been studying, and he has been trying to get all the papers together to be prepared for the next day. So after everything, he finally finished. Again, it was 3 in the morning and he was like, I'm really hungry. I want to go down and make myself a sandwich. So he was like, it's really late. I don't want to wake anybody up if I turn the lights on in the hallway because he still has to go down the stairs. So he decides that he's going to open his bedroom door and let that light guide him down. But he was also texting someone as he's walking down the steps. He mentions how he also didn't want to turn the flash on his camera. So he was going to use the screen itself. I don't know if you guys do this, but whenever I get up to go to the restroom, I don't turn my flash on. I just point the front of the camera to where I'm walking, and it gives enough light for me to see where I'm going. So that's what he did as he's walking down the steps. So he was texting at first as he was walking down, and he said that he'd heard someone walking up the stairs. He also mentions that he had just been studying for hours. He was out of it. He would have never thought that it would be something strange, weird, or paranormal. So he says when he heard the steps, he turned his phone around how he had been using that front screen, and 2 steps down, he sees the little girl that his friend had described many years ago. I would freaking die on the stairs, okay? He says that when he turned his camera and saw her, he just stayed there in shock. He even mentions how he's always said if something popped up or if something paranormal happened, I'm gonna start punching, I'm gonna start fighting. He's like, no, that is not what happened. I was shocked. He said he stayed there with that little, the brightness pointed at that little girl for a few seconds. He says that when he saw the girl was looking down almost towards the stairs, and that he was looking down at her. She had ponytails, she had glasses on. He said that after a few seconds, she simply turned around, went back down the stairs, and he lost sight of her. He said that after that, he was like, well, not hungry anymore. Went right back to his bed and he went under those covers and went to bed. He said, I am not hungry anymore. The kitchen, that is her domain, okay? He said he also felt like that girl was like almost waiting for him. Like she meant to do that. Like she wanted to scare the crap out of him. And his friends were joking like maybe when she saw that you weren't that scared, she was like, I'm over it and left. That little girl would have made a friend that day with me because I simply would have passed out, had a heart attack, and died. Haunting the kitchen though, not that bad. What are we eating, girl? His friends had some follow-up questions and they're like, did you see her feet? Did you see her arms? And he was like, no, but I remember she was wearing a purple dress. He also mentioned that she was very, very pale. He also mentions that there's other occurrences that has happened in his house, but he didn't give us the details on those. But what would you guys do if there's a little girl haunting your house? Or haunting your kitchen? Bitch, I'd be so mad because the amount of times I get up in the middle of the night to get snacks, nah, we would have to become besties because don't stop me. You're not gonna stop me from eating, bitch.